Hello
Wi-Fi on and off.
and
Ragnarok.
welcome to 6 Degrees of Feature Film. I am Korg, also known as Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
And I am Jeff Goldblum's Blue Soul Patch, also
good.
known as Stacey Howard. What's up?
Oh, nothing.
I'm looking real fall today.
You are fall. I love this scarf.
Scarf is huge and a little bit extra, just like my personality. I've got a really comfy sweater on.
I like your watch too.
Thanks.
Everything about and your shoes, which people aren't going to see. Maybe they'll see, depending.
I got boots, guys. This is real. Let me get a good stretch in. Just gonna. Hey. It's real casual this morning, you guys. Ben, how are you? Oh,
I'm exhausted.
Okay.
You want to know why I'm exhausted?
Why are you exhausted?
Because
Ben?
at 11 o'clock last night, I watched Thor Ragnarok. So I didn't get out of that theater until 1:30.
Thor Ragnarok. That's our feature film
It
today,
is.
Ben. What?
I know.
You didn't want it spoiled for you, so you're like, I have to go see it now.
I actually didn't know we were talking about it until this morning.
Ben, I really appreciate the homework you do for this show. Thank you.
Again, what do you do? Nothing. The answer is nothing. Stop talking.
I don't know what movies we're talking about until like the day of.
Okay.
Me either.
Well,
me either.
You know, I'm glad I'm here.
Just kidding.
So,
I have notes.
I'm not
you
told.
Do I dropped my notes. I have big notes today.
If you have never joined us, here's how this show works. We're going to take one film and show how 6 other films link up to it in some random way, shape, or form. But before we do that, we got some reviews on iTunes.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Some aren't very good.
What did they say?
They're upset with our sound on iTunes, which is hard because here's how it works on iTunes, because this is a YouTube show now. It's like switched over.
Yeah.
So I basically take the YouTube audio and I compress it. So it's not the best audio. Okay. It would be better if I did it using another system and had that going at the same time. I haven't been doing that.
Well, how can we get another system?
We can. It's just called I'm lazy.
Okay.
We have to. Yeah. I mean, I will do it. I should just set it up right now while we're talking.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, just run it.
No, I'm not. I mean, I can run it at the same time.
Yeah.
I just forgot about it today until we just talked about it.
I don't know all the high-tech words you're talking about right now. I'll be honest.
We'll run Audacity.
Anyways, go on iTunes, find 6 Degrees of Feature Film. Tell us we're wonderful because we love you.
Leave us a good review.
Please.
And we'll review you. Just kidding. I don't know you. Cool. I really love that we're talking about this film because I wasn't sure we were both going to be able to see it before this episode.
Right.
We did.
I had to get a babysitter. It cost me $160 to see this movie.
How?
Because it cost me $100 for the babysitter.
Hold up. What are you paying your babysitter? Because when I was 16, I was getting paid like $10 for the whole night, and I got to eat all their snacks. And by damn it, if I didn't eat all their fruit roll-ups when I was there.
I made $10 an hour, but that was like what I considered a good wage.
Yeah,
that was a good wage.
5 hours at $20 an hour.
What?
Yeah.
What do they do? Teach your kids sign language?
Well, it is one of their former preschool teachers, so she has a higher rate than, let's say, your run-of-the-mill babysitter. But originally, I was going to have her like put the kids to bed, and there's really only one person that can do that, and that's her. So there you go. You pay that premium price to get the kids to bed.
Sure.
I guess. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I need to get back into the babysitting job. $20 an hour. That's more than I make at my very high stress job.
So then the movie cost $30, and there was something else that cost $30. What? I don't remember getting anything. Soda? Oh, we went out after. So there you go.
Oh, like you went out to drink?
We went out to Cold Stones.
Oh.
That was $7. Let's see. I forget what else we got. We definitely spent another $30. So I can't remember.
Well, was it worth it?
Yeah, I guess so. Why not? Sure. Yeah. You know what? I'm lucky that on other days I don't need a babysitter and I can go see a movie by myself, but it's rare to see a movie with my husband. So it was nice to go out with him. We haven't been on a date in a long time.
That's good. It's good to have a night. I saw it with my significant other as well.
Yes.
And at first I thought our plans were all wonky that day, and I went to a match for Schmodown to watch someone. And I thought we were going to go to the movies after and then see his friend's really weird play.
Okay.
Which I'll actually tell everyone about. And then we were going to and then go home because I had a meeting the next day at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, JK, no, we can't see it before. So we just didn't play. And then we saw Thor after. So I wasn't done till like 2.
Whoa. Okay.
Didn't get home till like
That's late.
3:30.
That's late.
And then the next morning. So I was super tired. But it was
Mhm.
worth the tiredness.
Right. Now, since we're talking about Thor Ragnarok and it just came out this week, shall we just do surface level?
I would say surface level.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was just this weekend. If it was like a week had passed, like a whole
Like
week.
next week?
Yeah, like next week. But it
But
just
it's a
came
little
out.
fresh. It's a little fresh.
We gotta get a little bit in.
Here's what I like about the movie that won't spoil it. I like Taika Waititi and his direction, as well
Yes.
as the writing of the script.
Mhm.
Thought that was really good.
Mhm.
Something that I was a little disappointed by, and this is in the trailer, so if you've seen the trailer, this won't be a spoiler for you, is that I wish that the reveal of Hulk came organically in the film,
Mhm.
and we didn't know that Hulk was going to be in it.
Right.
Because I feel like they could have held that off, but at the same time, that's such a great comedic moment. Oh, it's a friend from work,
Right.
that I felt like maybe the trailer needed that push over the edge to get people to go see this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. People are going to see it because it's a superhero film, but when you come off of Thor the Dark World, which we're going to talk about a little bit, you're really starting from like the bottom, I feel. I feel like Thor the Dark World might be the worst Marvel movie that they've put out.
It might be, besides like the Edward Norton one. I really didn't like that one.
And the My Little Pony movie from the 80s. That's a
I'm
Marvel
not familiar
film,
with
guys.
that
That's a
one.
Marvel film.
Why is it a Marvel film?
It's a Marvel property. It was at the time.
I did not know this.
Yep.
If that's in the MCEU,
that would be amazing,
in
guys.
The Kingdom, that would be, please have a My Little Pony movie. That'd be great. You would nail it.
The My Little Pony movie is a bunch of shit, though. Like, it's not okay. The new one, I don't know. I want to see the new one, but the old one, like, I watched it with my kids, and I was like, this is scary and not good. That's my analysis of that 80s one. This movie was good.
I thought it was great. I laughed a lot. I thought it was different and fun. I have been a fan of Taika Waititi since
Eagle versus Shark.
Eagle versus Shark. I'm a huge fan of some of his indie films. If you haven't seen that, or Boy, or Hunt for the Wilder People, they're amazing. He was also involved in Flight of the Conchords, and one of my favorite indie films, mockumentary, What We Do in the Shadows, which is now getting a sequel. So
yes,
I'm quite excited about this. Quite excited. When they picked him, I was like, really? Him? You guys are going to give him a chance? All right. And I was like, you go, Marvel. I'm proud for them.
I think that was the best decision they've made.
Absolutely. Let's give just a somewhat unknown director who mainly does indie films and his own projects a chance to helm a huge, gigantic marketing budget.
A lot of times they do that.
Yeah.
In general. But what would be nice for their next film would be to have a woman do it.
That would be
same
awesome.
thing. Nice indie person that could transfer over.
With Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman.
Right.
And it really paid off. So good job, DC. And then Marvel, they're doing their thing with all these great different directors. So let's keep going with it.
Let's keep going with it, even though someone's calling Stacy.
Sorry.
Is that something you need to check?
No,
it's okay if you do.
It's not anything I need to get. In fact,
I do want to say that the friend from work line came from a kid from the Make-A-Wish who had met Chris Hemsworth as Thor and said, you should have this line. This is what it should be. And I thought, oh,
that's super
adorable.
Cute. Aww. I also heard that Taika Waititi was like a fun guy on set, and he would like have all these onesies he would wear and like play pranks on everyone. This isn't something I read in
probably
IMDb.
Pineapple onesies. He likes pineapples.
Onesies. He does indeed. He just seems like a fun, cool, weird guy, like someone that you couldn't really figure out. And I like that. I like a little mystery in my men.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I was like, is there anything that I can tell you that doesn't give away things?
Can we talk about Tessa Thompson in the film?
Yes. Let's talk about her.
Okay. I thought she was a wonderful actress and a fantastic, fascinating character. Thought they gave her a really good character arc and story. They gave her something to do in the film. She was a warrior in this movie. I loved her outfits. I loved her action. I loved her personality. I loved everything.
I want to see, they show like kind of origins origins of her character, if you will,
Mhm.
like little flashes of those. And I
Mhm.
want to see that as a movie,
Yeah.
the Valkyrie movie.
Yes.
That's what I want to see.
Now, I loved that she was a Valkyrie because as I've discussed on the show and discussed with you personally, I love paranormal romance books.
Yes.
Romance novels, cheesy romance novels, you guys know, but there's actually some very well written, funny, cool romance novels out there, especially by an author called Cressley Cole, and she does an entire series, and it's all like mythology. And one of the uh, races of people she talks about in the book is the Valkyrie. And so I knew a little bit of the history of the Valkyrie. So I was
Oh.
very excited that that this was and it's like Valkyrie, werewolves, vampires, the whole it's called the lore, the whole mythology
Mhm.
surrounding all these kind of ancient creatures, and the Valkyrie one of the races that she talks about. And so I was super excited that we have a Valkyrie on screen. It was really cool, and I was like, I know some things about this, so I was quite excited. Yeah.
Very good. I love it. I also love that Kate Blanchett was persuaded to do this film by her son. I think it was her
Yes.
son, because or her children. It says so. More than one. Could be a son, could be a daughter. I don't know. They thought it would be a nice push for her career to do a superhero film since they're so big right now. So that's why she decided to take the role. I thought it was a good role for her too,
Yeah.
and I really appreciated how it transforms from this sleek black hair into these
Oh
like
yeah.
antlers or whatever.
Those, like,
I'll call them
cool.
antlers. I don't know what else you horns.
Yeah, horn antler headdress piece thing. I would dress up as Hela for Halloween. That would be an awesome costume.
I
Oh,
feel
that'd be
like
great.
that's going to be seen a lot, probably at Comic-Con this year.
I hope so, because everyone's like they're trying to outdo each other with like the props and like the homemade costumes. Because no one there's no really well made costume you can buy online for all these things. There's like cheap
Unless you go to
versions.
Etsy, because you
Right.
can buy like actual cosplay on Etsy.
But like that has to be like made for you, and it's like
Yes, it is.
$300.
Yes. Because how
$500.
much would it cost for them? Like, how much would it cost for you to do that yourself is the question.
Yeah.
Probably quite a bit in materials,
Mm-hmm.
but then the labor, like, I don't know how much they're charging for labor.
I
Let's
don't
break
know.
it down. I'm going to have them break it down on a receipt for me. I want to know all the materials
Well, because
and then the labor cost.
because I wanted to get a poison ivy costume made for me. I just needed a green leotard with like glitter, and I couldn't find one that was like already made. And I was like, I don't want to wait months for someone to hand make it for me. I don't have $350 to throw away. Well,
It's
not
true.
throw away.
It's
It'd be
true.
worth it in every penny, in my opinion, because I would love to wear that to Comic Con. I did apply for my press badge for Comic
Good.
Con. Fingers
Excellent.
crossed, everyone. Send good thoughts my way that I get it back and I can go as a
Yes.
press. And then next year will be a lot easier because once you go once, then you can re-go the next year, and it takes a lot
Kind
less.
of.
Kind of.
Yeah. It works differently.
Yeah, it
Ben
works
has some.
differently.
It's
Ben has
easier.
raised.
It's easier.
I just got my badges.
You
Congratulations.
They had the like general admission, or not general
Yes.
admission, but like returning
did?
general.
Returning general admission.
Yeah.
They have those out already? I thought it
Yeah,
was
no,
until
that was really
March.
fast. Well, no,
Last year it was slower because they had to redo some of their stuff.
yeah,
But
they
normally it happens. Yeah.
like I feel like it normally happens in November. This time it happened before Halloween. It was alarming.
Hmm.
I woke up
When's
Saturday morning and my dad called me. He's like, "We need to buy these in 45 minutes," and I was like, "I'm literally not at my house."
Did you go to Starbucks with your computer and push every
No, I didn't have my
little-
laptop either. I had to get back to my apartment.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
You gotta run. Gotta
Yep.
run, boy.
Yep.
Gotta run. So wait, when can you buy general badges for the
Guys,
first time this year?
this
No,
is
I'm very
Thor.
I'm not
curious.
sure.
Okay,
They
I
haven't
think
announced
it's in
it yet.
March. Okay.
It might be in March. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm very nervous. Okay, Thor. Well, we talked about Thor a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go on to our link.
Okay.
We're going to link to movies that feature Thor, and
Yes.
and I was very upset last night when I talked to you, Stacey, because I was like, oh, I should have done Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
Because he is featured in
He
Adventures
is.
in Babysitting, or at least talked about.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio looks like him.
Mhm.
So that would have been great. But unfortunately, we're not talking about that. We decided to go with The Avengers, one of the movies that he's in, May 4th, 2012. We will be talking about this at length, I'm assuming, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Or
knows?
if you are unaware, This is about Earth's mightiest heroes, and they must come together to learn to fight as a team if they are going to stop the mischievous Loki and his alien army from enslaving humanity. So there you go. Now, this was my first experience with Loki because I didn't see the original Thor. So I thought he was just kind of a dumb villain. But like when you really do need to see Thor before you see the Avengers to understand that has a lot more depth to him. Whereas if you, like me, skipped over that and just saw Avengers, you're like, who's this dude with the horns? Why is he like, why does anyone care? They're brothers. Okay, I don't understand.
He's adopted. I saw this movie with my family opening day. And I remember it being like just a really fun movie going experience for all of us because none of us, besides my brother, really read comic books. And so when my parents went with us, you know, I was thinking, oh, they're not gonna get it or care, and we like skipped out of that theater holding hands. That was how like cheesy we were. Like, oh my god, this is amazing! It was so funny. Who is this guy? What are all these characters? Like, we were so into it, and we have continued to watch the films together in theaters after that because we just thought it was it was just a good feel good time. Like, it was fun, adventurous. It was hugely wildly popular. Everyone loved it. And yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I had a good time in the theater too. I think I remember seeing this. Oh gosh. Okay. May 4th, 2012. I don't know. Oh, I must have seen it later. I definitely saw it in the theater, and I believe that I saw it with my husband, and then there was like a family behind us with like little kids, and they were really cute, but there was people that were not happy that there were little kids. I was like, dude, this movie's been out for over a month now.
Yeah.
Like, and you need to calm down because like these kids are like excited to see these characters, and they're young, so they're like kids don't understand how to act in the theater, and like they just get excited, and parents try to like calm them down, but you can't.
Honestly, I don't mind little
excitement.
kids because I understand that they can't contain themselves. It's teenagers that talk, are rude, disrespectful, and annoy me that know better, and they do it anyway just to be little shits. So if you're like 6 years old and you're like, Mom, Thor, I'd be like, you're right, buddy, Thor. Like, I'm like, go for it. You're excited. You're into movies. Start them out young, you know? But if you're like a teenager, I'm like, fuck off, Lisa. Like, I hate it. Oh, Karen every time. Some little shit named Blakely or whatever. Gross.
Why is it always the girls?
It's always the girls that are annoying.
No, that's not true.
That's not true at all.
That's
just
not true.
Kidding. Just kidding.
This was made for $220 million and made 1.519 billion at the box office.
Jeez Louise.
So no wonder they keep cranking this shit out. I mean, it's not shit, but it's getting there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Thor was good.
Thor was real good.
I'm looking forward to Captain Marvel.
Me too.
And Black Panther. Okay, so I am very excited about Black Panther.
Oh my gosh, that looks. Every time I see the trailer, I'm like, like I just get so antsy.
When I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, I was just kind of like, I'm really fatigued on superheroes. But then Thor: Ragnarok came out, and I was like, all right, I like it. And then you see like the Black Panther trailer, and you're like, oh shit, that looks good.
It looks awesome.
So
I mean, Thor's not really a superhero movie, honestly.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's the MCU, but it's
in a whole other realm.
Yeah, it's like with the Guardians movies, they're not superheroes. Like,
right?
We only call them that because they exist in the same universe, but structurally, they're just sci-fi movies.
Okay, thanks for breaking that down, Ben.
Thanks for depressing the show, Ben.
This is why superhero movies can continue because they can exist as other mediums.
Anyways, favorite scene in this is when Hulk takes Loki and just like moves him back and forth. Like,
you mean Thor?
Or no, Hulk takes Loki and does that, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
He does the like slam.
My mom also loved that scene. Boom, boom, boom. I'm a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied. It's great. Very big laughs in the theater during that.
There is kind of a reference to that in Thor Ragnarok. That's pretty great. Great. Yes. Anyways, they were supposed to have a Wasp in this as well, but for some reason they're like, well, we already have Black Widow, so we don't need Wasp.
Yeah. We only need one
woman.
Hopefully
Hopefully she'll be in
Can you just imagine all these like meetings with there's like 8 people in there trying to talk about who should be, and then some guy's like, well, there could only be one woman in this movie. You don't really want a lot of competition between female characters and attention. So if we already have Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, she's fine in her suit. She looks great. It's fine. We don't need anybody else.
No one else.
No one else.
That's it. End of scene. And apparently Natalie Portman was supposed to have a cameo as Jane Foster, but she was pregnant at the time, and apparently they can't do any sort of CGI, which they've done before, where they have like the belly with the like green screen on it.
Just do the green screen belly.
So
Also,
once again, I guess too many women.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting real.
Too many women. Also, they're
now.
pregnant, and that's gross. And no one wants to see a fat, gross, pregnant woman in a movie. Everyone knows that. Obviously.
Who did they do that for? Kate Beckinsale?
No, they did it for Gal Gadot. Gadot?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Gadot or Gadot?
It's Godot.
Gadot. Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman, because when they did reshoots, she was 5 months pregnant, and they were like, "Paint that belly,
Gadot.
girl." Gadot.
Like dote. Like dote.
Gadot. Like dote
Like
on,
a doting.
dote on you.
Yes.
A
Gadot.
doting Amazon mom. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Gal Gadot.
Anyways, I need to move on from the women and superheroes.
Move on from the discussion of women and superheroes, because no one wants to hear that. Just kidding. We're going to talk about all we want, you guys. This is our fucking show.
Let's move on to Thor: The Dark World. Speaking of Jane Foster.
Okay, here we go. So I'll be honest, I haven't seen Thor: The Dark World since it came out in theaters. So I was reading the synopsis for this, and I realized I don't remember a goddamn thing from this movie. This is the synopsis. When Dr. Jane Foster gets cursed with a powerful entity known as the Ether, Thor is heralded of the cosmic event known as the Convergence and the genocidal Dark Elves. What the fuck am I talking about? You guys, I do not remember this movie. I only remember liking it slightly because I loved Loki from Avengers, and I was excited he had a bigger part in this movie. And you get to see him... You get to see like depressed Loki in prison. You get to see him lose it when, spoiler alert, his mom gets killed. You get Frigga, played by the beautiful Renee Russo. You get to see him reenact and do impressions of all the other members of the Avengers, which is my favorite part of the film, and probably the only interesting part of the film. And then there's all this like spatial contusion. Let's go through a portal. And what's his face is in there as like Natalie Portman's like love interest. She had one date with, and all there's like all these random things. I don't even know who the villain is. I forgot what he wanted. He's a dark elf. He's a
dark elf. He just wanted
Who
souls. I have no idea. There was people floating in the air.
She's
eyes
like floating
that are like
with like with like things coming out of her. I totally forgot. Like
Zachary Levi was in this one. He
That's
replaced some other dude. Oh crap, I don't remember that guy's name, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
I'm like, who was that? I do love Zachary Levi.
He's great.
He is great.
I've heard. I never watched anything with him.
What?
Disney? He's in Chuck or whatever.
He's in Chuck. Yes, he's the voice of in Tangled.
That's right. Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. I knew it. I know movies. I know what we're talking about.
I was like, what's Flynn's real name?
Oh God, I forgot. Dennis?
No. Eugene.
Eugene. I gotta rewatch Tangled. I actually really like that movie.
He's Shazam now too.
Shazam. Yeah.
The only interesting trivia I read about this movie was, and I do love Stellan Skarsgård in these films because he is traditionally a dramatic actor, and then the fact that he gets to play the goof in these goofy scientists in these movies, he's hamming it up, he's having a ball. But he said that he wasn't sure if he could perform the Stonehenge scene nude, even though he'd be wearing a thong. So the production team gently encouraged him by reminding him that he had done much worse in the movie Nymphomania. The one with it's what's his face? He also directed
Shia
Melancholia.
LaBeouf? Oh no, I don't know.
The directors who directed Melancholia and Nymphomaniac and Stieg Larsson. I forgot. Anyway, so he did some crazy shit in that movie. And
Lars von Trier.
Yeah, Lars von Trier, that guy who was a nutbag apparently and super crazy.
I mean, look at his films.
Look at his movies. He's nuts. But this movie was super nuts too. Directed by Alan Taylor, who also did Terminator Genesis, which is a very important film.
Didn't see that one.
Yeah, so a lot of random things. It was just kind of like a forgettable movie that you don't remember what happened and it doesn't affect anything else in the other movies. So there you go.
Yeah.
I like that both
Typical.
times I've been here, we've discussed, or like the past 2 times I've been here, we've brought up movies from the company I intern at to discuss their quality.
We don't know. Wait, what
We don't
movie?
know where you work.
Genesis.
Terminator Genesis. I did rewatch that. I don't know why. It was one of those things where I needed something on in the background while I was doing laundry or something, and I didn't want to watch something that I wanted to pay attention to. So I just put it on Terminator Genesis.
This is the movie where Thor hangs up his Mjolnir on
It
like
is.
the coat rack. The only problem I have with that is, wouldn't that like bring the coat rack down? Like, wouldn't that just like
I think
because
because he placed it there. If
Mm.
anyone else had, it wouldn't have been able
well,
to stay
no
where
one
it
could
was.
have, but yeah.
Yeah, but because he did it, it was okay with the.
Okay.
I forgot how the
Mjolnir's like, all right, I'll do it.
I
Ben,
forgot how the
what?
Thor's magic.
Mjolnir isn't heavy. Mjolnir is like a fixed point in the
Mm.
existence. So only Thor has the ability to move its position. So if he hangs it on something, it
Yeah.
isn't heavy for that thing. It's just unmovable
Got it.
because
Got it.
magic.
I also thought it was heavy
Magic.
though because it was made from the heart of a dying star and it was super dense or something.
I don't. That's not how.
How does magic work,
I
you
don't
guys?
know.
Magic,
I don't know.
guys.
I don't
How
know.
does
Okay,
movie magic?
Ladies and gentlemen, we went from Thor Ragnarok. We linked it to movies featuring Thor with the Avengers as well as Thor the Dark World. And now we're going to link off of the Avengers as well as Thor the Dark World. I'm going to take the Avengers. Stacy's taking Thor the Dark World. Do you want to go first or should I go first? Okay.
Sure. Okay.
What's your link?
My link is movies that have sibling rivalry
Perfect.
in them. So in Thor the Dark World,
Oh,
obviously.
wait.
What?
Before you continue on, if
Mm.
you have a movie that you like with sibling rivalry in it, please put it in the chat and maybe I will pick the movie that you have suggested.
Yes, because the way our show works now is I'm going to pick one movie with sibling rivalry.
Yes.
I've just revealed my link to you. You didn't know it, so now you got to pick one
Yes,
off the
I
top
do.
of your head. But we would love suggestions from the crowd.
Chat.
Sure. There's a crowd in there. Okay, so I went with Ever After, a Cinderella story, which was one of my favorite movies growing up. And I rewatched it a ton. It came out in '98. It stars Drew Barrymore, Angelica Houston, Doug Ray Scott, Patrick Godfrey, Megan Dodds, who is not the actress from The Office, but she looks just like her, just like Angela, and Melanie Linsky. And it's a retelling of the Cinderella story involving Leonardo da Vinci and famous characters throughout history and the country of France. And he's a prince, and she is a poor servant girl who's not really poor. They just make her to act like poor because her dad died and the stepmother's cruel.
Well, they just make her their servant.
Yeah, which it still bothered me. I'm like, how could they have done that? Because yes, the dad died, but she's still his daughter. Shouldn't she have like inherited things? And can't she go to court and be like, hey, I'm legally like his daughter. My stepmother's like
I think
making
it's
me.
no. I think it would probably be like, well, she's your mom now, so she can tell you what to do. Because I feel like that time didn't really have those sorts of.
I guess not, but I was still very
things.
bothered that she didn't fight it. That she wasn't like
She was too
hey,
kind.
yeah,
She's
I
too
don't know.
kind
I
to
don't know. I
everyone.
guess so.
This is one of my favorite films, and I didn't expect it to be because I looking at the trailer and everything, I thought, is Drew Barrymore the right fit for this role?
Right.
When I was a kid, whenever I saw this, a teenager, if you will, and then once I did see it, I was like, wow, she was just perfect.
Yeah.
Like, she worked so well. Why is it from the trailer? I'm like, I don't know about her in this role, but yet you just can't tell from that.
I don't know. I didn't see the trailer. I just remember I think my mom was like, yo, let's go see this movie because she was like, you'll probably like this.
Right.
And because as it was one of, I love when people take what is supposed to be a children's story and make it like a grown up theme and story. And there are a lot of dark themes in this. There's slavery. There's like torture. There's people like whipping people in this. There is she's like imprisoned and not really in prison, but like they try and lock her up.
They lock her
so
up.
she can't go to the ball.
It's
Just
the
like
Cinderella story without any magic.
Right. There's no magic, but because there's no magic, because there's not the Disney shine to it and glitter and glitz, it's really like a really devastating story about this young woman who is stuck in a position where she is powerless and she can't do anything about her life, and feeling very much um uh I guess like it's over. It's like her life
Yeah.
is over almost. Like she can't do anything
But she
and
still
have a
has that
future.
hope, and she's very kind with all the other
Mhm.
servants, and she is concerned about them, and she's a humanitarian, and that's how she kind of gets the eye of the prince, if you
Yes.
will.
And she's strong. She goes
Mhm.
there and she's like, because one of her servants was sold, so
Or
she goes
going to
to
be sold or
yeah.
leave for America or somewhere
Mhm.
something.
So she goes to the market to argue and say, "You cannot take this man. I'm buying him back." And she like argues her way out of this man being taken from their family. And the prince overhears this and is like, "This is like a strong female woman who has an opinion to say and is able to debate with her and speak with her intellectually." And he wants to go on adventures with her. And my favorite scene, which is actually based on something apparently that historically actually happened, they are overcome by bandits or like gypsies or
Oh, right.
something,
Yes.
and they hold them, basically like hold them up, and it's like, "Give me all your stuff." She goes, "You can't take all these things, please." And they go, "You know what?" Or she tries to negotiate and say, "Can I have whatever I can carry with me and we can walk away with our lives?" They said, "Sure, whatever you can carry." So she picks up the prince and like puts him on her shoulders, and then they laugh so much and think that she's so wonderful for thinking of that and clever, that they're like, "You know what, you're all right, kid, we won't steal from you, have dinner with us." And they're around the fort, and it's super cute. But that
That
apparently
was cute.
really happened in like 1140. There was a castle that was under siege, and all the women said to the king, "Listen, can we just take whatever we can carry out of here and have our lives?" And he was like, "Sure." So they all picked up their husbands, put them over their shoulders, and walked out. And the soldiers were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you can't do that, it's cheating." And the king's like, "No, a king's word is final, and I said I would do that, and I said I'd let them, so there you go." So I thought that was cute. It was like a real thing from
Oh,
history. There
oh,
you go. So
I
that's
like that. I like Ever After.
yeah, it's really sweet, and it's just it's a feel good, dramatic, comedic movie.
Hmm.
It's a mosh podge of like a lot of different themes, and I thought it was, the costumes are cool, and it got me
Yeah.
into like period pieces because I love period pieces so much.
Yeah, it was a cute. I love this
It was
movie.
cute. I
I
love
love
it
this
too.
movie. I
I
love
love
it.
it. I love
I love
it.
it.
It's
I
so
own
good.
this
I love it. I
movie.
love it.
I own this movie.
Let's talk
I love
about
this
let's talk
movie.
like Drew Barrymore the rest of the episode, you
Off the
guys.
side of our mouth.
Off the side
Kind
of
of
our
like
mouth like
kind
this.
of like a Katie Holmes too. She does
Yeah,
that
she does a
too.
little. She does a little bit.
She does it.
She did like Drew Barrymore does like this, like way off the side of her mouth, but Katie Holmes is like a little more like down, like this.
Yeah, down.
So she's like really.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
I
doing a
can't
good
do it.
impression.
I can't
Okay.
do it.
Okay. So what movie?
Oh wait, I had one question about Ever
Oh,
After.
yeah,
In the
yeah,
very beginning, there's the woman that she's telling the brothers Grimm, like the real story of Cinderella. They're like, she's like, I like what you wrote, but that's not the real story. This is the real
Uh-huh.
story. Do we know who that woman is?
It's her.
Is it her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's her.
Because I've always wondered that.
It's
Is that her?
As it's Cinderella as an old woman
Okay,
saying, "You got
that's what
my
I
story
thought,
wrong."
but I wasn't
At least I
sure.
think. Well, now I'm questioning
I
myself
mean,
because
could it
I
be
don't
her
know.
daughter? Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Elise McKenna said it, and you said it before. Cruel Intentions. So
Ah.
there you go. Cruel Intentions came out in the '90s, late '90s, I would say, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe.
Felipe?
I can never get it right. Selma Blair and Sean Patrick Thomas. Who else is in this? Some other people.
Everyone. What's his face from Mighty Ducks?
Pacey.
Josh.
Yes. He is in
Josh.
this.
What's
Yeah, Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. There you go.
I like that it's the modernized version of Dangerous Liaisons with
Yes.
Meryl Streep and John Malkovich.
No, Glenn Close.
Oh yeah, Glenn Close. Sorry
Don't
about
get
that.
them
Oh
mixed
my
up.
gosh,
Jesus.
it's terrible. Glenn Close.
All
John
women are the
Malkovich,
same.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is in this. Oh God,
is in that one.
You know what? I've
Is in
never
Dangerous
seen Dangerous
Liaison.
Liaisons. I really need to see this
Mhm.
movie.
Apparently now you do. You're like, oh, Keanu Reeves. But anyways, so it takes place in like Upper Manhattan, and there are these prep school kids is over the summer, and Reese Witherspoon is kind of like the new kid coming into town, or into the school, and she's the headmaster's daughter, and they wager that bet of if you can something about deflowering the headmaster's daughter, then you can have sex with me or whatever,
Yeah.
which is weird.
And their stepbrother and sister.
Which is weird. I mean, they're not blood related, but
It's just weird.
still like on paper, part of family.
I'm curious as to when they became stepbrother and sister, because maybe it's just like their parents got married like a year ago or so.
It's possible.
So maybe it's not too weird. But if they've been stepbrother and sister since they were like 10, then
That's
it's really weird and
That's
gross.
weird.
So I don't know.
Anyways, there's the rivalry. I forget what her wager is, though. I can't remember what he bets her. Or maybe that's his bet to her, and then she's like, "I don't think you can do it," and I don't know what her win would be. I can't remember.
I forgot.
Anyways, I found this to be probably like a really good like teen like sex drama, if you will.
Yeah.
But like it's something that teens would probably be interested in. And that's probably why they had those straight to DVD sequels. I have no idea. I never watched any of them.
Adams was in the Cruel Intentions sequel.
Oh.
Cruel Intentions 2. Pretty sure.
Oh, something about she gets his car. Thank you, Janine. If he can't do it.
Okay. He gets to sleep with her, and she gets his car.
She could probably just buy her own car.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Maybe it's because it's his most prized possession.
And why
so
does Reese Witherspoon end up with it? It just doesn't make sense to me. That's not how things
did she
work.
steal that car? She doesn't have the pink slip
It's
to
not
that
like
car.
he like wrote something down like she gets my car. Like it just doesn't.
Where'd she get the keys? I'm very confused.
This doesn't. That doesn't make sense for me.
I love that this was like the dirty, naughty movie to watch.
Sure.
What was the year again? Was it 99?
98 or 99?
98
I
or
would
99. Guess. Late 90s. The 90s was a great time for erotic thrillers. And this was like the teenage version of erotic thrillers. I love my eyes when I say that. Erotic thrillers. It was like a whole subgenre of thrillers was the erotic thrillers. So you had your Basic Instincts. You had your there's the color of whatever.
Money?
No, not the color of money. It's called I don't know. There's something else with Bruce Willis, and it's a really bad. They covered it on How Did This Get Made? But in what's it called? Fatal Attraction. Like all these like like sexy, dirty.
That stupid one that I hate. With Kim Basinger, 9.5 Weeks.
Oh, you hated 9.5 Weeks so much.
Good Lord, I hate that film.
These like really dark, dramatic, with like terrible human themes in them, but it's got stars and they're naked. So this is like the teen version of that. And I felt so like bad watching this.
Sure.
I was like, oh, I'm watching
Color of Night.
Color of Night. Laura. Thank you, Laura. Yes, that one. Haven't seen it still, but I tell everyone about it. This is part of that genre, but it's for us, and I was so like, oh my gosh, I'm turned on by this. What is this?
I love it. All right, so we went from Thor Ragnarok, then we linked it to movies featuring Thor with the Avengers, as well as Thor the Dark World. Off of Thor the Dark World, we linked it to sibling rivalry with Cruel Intentions, as well as Ever After. And now I'm going to link off of the Avengers. I'm just doing ensemble films, which we've done before as a link. This time I was going to do Love Actually, and then I decided before I reveal it, go ahead and put your ensemble film that you would like maybe Stacey to talk about in the chat. Maybe it's Love Actually. But I decided to go with a movie I just saw yesterday, A Bad Mom's Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's unpack this just for a minute. Okay.
Unpack that suitcase.
Again, I will stray away from spoilers as best I can. So here's the thing. Bad Moms came out last year, and it was obviously a hit. Otherwise, they wouldn't have fast-tracked a sequel so quickly. So it hit all the levels of being a mom that I definitely wanted, and I felt that it really portrayed being a mom and being, on the PTA and stuff like that, but it also kind of made fun of that by going a little overboard with what that really all means, and like kind of highlighting certain things like, oh, we're gonna have this bake sale, but you can't have gluten, and you can't have dairy, and you can't have this, and you can't have that, and you can't have mated in your home, and you have to have you have to have this baker who's kosher, like all these things that are a little bit heightened but totally true. Like there are those guidelines in a bake sale. So they go ahead and fast track a Bad Moms Christmas. And I see the trailer and I'm like, I'm in for this because I liked Bad Moms a lot. I'm a mom. I liked Bad Moms. I feel it's very reflective of my life. And I see the trailer and I'm like, oh, Mila Kunis's mom is probably my mom. I'm sure everyone can relate to a mom in this somewhere. So the problem with Bad Moms Christmas is that it goes too hyper overboard in that, like, this character that is her mom, is Mila Kunis's mom that's coming for Christmas, is not real at all. Like, there's nothing, like, for a moment, she kind of looks like my mom in terms of, like, some of the things that she'll do, but then it's like, no, there's no way that she resembles any person that's living on Earth. Like, there's just no way. She's too hyper and over. And all of the characters were like that. Kristen Bell's mom was like way over what you would consider kind of a mom that's a little more suffocating to her daughter. And then maybe Susan Sarandon's character, which is Catherine Hahn's mom, maybe she's a little more close to like one of those distant moms that you've never saw growing up and, you know, comes into your life and then leaves. She may have been like the closest to an actual characterization of an actual person. But the rest of them were just too hyper and above. There was one point where like Peter Gallagher, who has he's Mila Kunis's dad, and husband to Christine Baranski's character. And they're kind of the main focus, those three. But his character doesn't really say much. And then there's this one point of the movie where he kind of has this like monologue. And I was like almost crying because I was like, whoa, this really, like, you're hitting all the spots here. I was like, this is why you're in the movie. This is what this character is for. But anyways, I was sad that it wasn't as good. And I feel like maybe if there was more time to have fixed these problems and workshopped it more, then maybe it would have been better. And it ran a little long, and I was just like, okay, I'm ready to be done with this. Like certain scenes, I was just like, time to cut this, time to cut. You know, like I just felt it was too rushed.
Oh,
so that's all.
Oh, well, I'm sad.
Could have been better.
I'm sad it wasn't as good as you wanted.
It's all right. It's all right.
But I don't know if I want to see Bad Moms or Bad Moms Christmas because I feel like here's my thoughts on motherhood.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to have kids, but if and when I have children, I feel like I'm gonna be such a sassy mom. Like if we're at the PTA meeting and they say something like, "Well, we're gonna have a bake sale, but you can't have gluten, you can't have this." I'll be like, "Sorry, this is all bullshit. What are we doing?" Like I will literally just be like, "No," and I will laugh at everyone and leave because I'm like, I'm not gonna
probably
deal with
won't
this.
Go.
Well, no, I would want to go to participate and be considered a good mom, you know, but I would just be like, fuck you, Karen.
Yeah.
Like I would be kicked out of every club because I'd be like, this is ridiculous.
Sure.
No.
We have to get to your movie because I do have an appointment after this.
I'm going to talk about what Laura
suggested,
which is Steel Magnolias.
Yes.
I love Steel Magnolias. Not only am I from the South, so this was very relatable to me. The characters that you have, the behaviors, the things that go on, all the life events. So basically, it's Dolly Parton, Julia Roberts, Sally Field, Olympia Dukakis, Shirley MacLaine are the main, and Daryl Hannah are the main peeps. They're all women in this little town in Louisiana, and it's about their lives and life events, marriage, children, death.
Here's a trivia question for you. What is the groom's cake?
Oh, it's an armadillo.
Yeah.
It's a red velvet armadillo.
Red velvet armadillo.
And there's also a great line, which is basically Julia Roberts' father hates Olympia Dukakis' character. He asked her to cut her a piece of cake, and she cuts the tail butt off of the armadillo. And then he goes, thanks, Weezer. Nothing like a good piece of ass. And it's such like a Southern thing to be so sassy. And it reminds me of every relative I've ever had and every Southern wedding I've ever been to. So yeah, it is a very moving. It can be tear-jerking at times. You can laugh out loud at times. And it's the story of women and how they relate to each other through all these life events. So I love, it's a good ensemble piece about lives. And I love it.
And it's
Southern
sad.
women.
It's sad.
It's super sad. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll spoil it.
Dusty. Gets dusty.
Yeah, it gets dusty real hard.
I was gonna run down the films, but I want to make sure you have your Better with Rocky ready. And
No,
if
I
not,
don't.
if
Literally
you
not at
don't,
all.
then this is the time where you should be getting ready for that.
Not at all. When have I
All right.
ever?
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we went from Thor Ragnarok. We linked it to movies with Thor featured in them, with the Avengers, as well as Thor: The Dark World. Off of Thor: The Dark World, we went to sibling rivalry in film with Cruel Intentions, as well as, what was your other one?
Ever After.
Ever After. And then off of the Avengers, I went to Ensemble Films. I linked it to something. Bad Mom's Christmas. That's what it is. My brain is just stopping right now. And then you just linked it to Steel Magnolias.
Yes.
And I even didn't do Ben, can you look up, can you do this, the Kevin Bacon? Because I completely forgot that. Guys, my once again, brain. Kevin Bacon to Chris Hemsworth?
Sure. Okay.
Here's what you Google: Kevin Bacon Oracle, and then you type in Chris Hemsworth, and then you'll do that for us.
So this is where I find out that this is far less impressive on your part than I expected.
Oh yeah, you didn't know this is how we do this?
No.
This is how we do this.
I know
Super
this was a
easy.
thing.
Super easy.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, so I'm going to quote Korg.
Okay.
So this is: would Thor Ragnarok be better
With Sylvester Stallone.
with Stallone as Rocky, as Korg, played by Stacey Howard? Will you do? So I'm doing this quote right here. Will you say what Thor says?
How did you end up here?
Well, I tried to start a revolution, but I didn't print enough pamphlets, so hardly anyone turned up, except for my mom and her boyfriend who I hate. It's punishment I was supposed to be in here, become a gladiator. Bit of a promotional disaster, that one, but I'm actually organizing another revolution. I don't know if you'd be interested in something like that. Yo, do you reckon you'd be interested?
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. I appreciate that you go for the monologues.
I really do. I really commit my performance, you know?
You
and
do.
I'm a
You do.
thespian at heart, so.
Ben's going to tell us how Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, how he links up to Thor Ragnarok.
Chris Hemsworth was in Ghostbusters 2016 with Michael Marchand, who was in Patriots Day with Kevin Bacon.
Right, but you go backwards.
Well, Kevin Bacon was in Patriots Day with Paige McLean, who was also in Ghostbusters 2016 with Chris Hemsworth.
Who was in
Thor
Thor
Ragnarok?
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's all
Look that up,
connected.
Ben.
No one told me.
That's okay.
Wait,
Listen
wait,
to the show
Kevin, wait, I have a
every
better
day.
one.
How
I have
long
a
you
better
been
one.
with us?
Kevin Bacon was in The Cut with Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo was in The Avengers with Chris Hemsworth. It's a better
Well,
And
connection.
Chris
No.
Hemsworth
Well,
was
Mark
in Thor
Ruffalo
Ragnarok.
was
We're
in
linking to
Also
Thor
Thor
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. I'm aware of this.
Okay.
He was in many things.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'm killing
I
myself
appreciate that.
tonight.
Thank you. Stacy, where
What?
can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Stacey O. Howard, as well as Instagram and on Snapchat too. And there's so many places that you can find me. Where can we
Perfect.
find you?
You can find me all day, every day on Twitter at Miss Movies. Tomorrow I have Colin Moriarty on Film Therapy, so you can catch us here at 10:30 tomorrow. And next week we're off. We're off for 2 weeks. This show.
Yeah.
We'll be back on the 29th.
29th, yes.
Is that the right day?
It is the right day. It's absolutely the right
number.
day. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. So there you go. No
Oh.
6 degrees next week,
Nope.
but in 2 weeks we will
After 2
see
weeks.
you. Give us some suggestions of what you want the feature film to be. Maybe we'll do it.
No? Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.